Hi, boys and girls. It's Santa Claus here, coming from the North Pole. I usually see you at the Baldwin Library, but I understand that they're closed for a bit. So I thought I'd come to you and read you some stories and sing you some songs from up here at the North Pole. So settle in, grab some hot cocoa, grab a few things to jingle with, and let's get going. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, boys and girls, our first story from the North Pole is Pete the Cat Saves Christmas by James Dean. I really like this book. This is a good one. 'Twas the day before Christmas, and Santa was ill. In the cold winter wind, he had caught a bad chill. Will Christmas be canceled? Will it come to that? Never, cried Santa. Let's call Pete the Cat. Santa asked Pete to deliver the toys to all the good girls and all the good boys. I'll do it, said Pete, and although I am small, at Christmas we give, so I will give it my all. Give it your all, give it your all. At Christmas, we give it our all. So Pete jumped in his minibus and started to roll. Road trip, cried Pete. First stop, the North Pole. Here he is in his micro minibus. He's leaving Key West and going to the North Pole. That's a long trip. The reindeer were waiting to give Pete a tow. So he packed up the presents and told them, let's go. Then the minibus flew just like in a movie. Pete the Cat cried, this is totally groovy. There he is. The reindeer are pulling his minibus. That is groovy. I can do it, said Pete. And although I am small, at Christmas we give, so I will give it my all. Give it your all, give it your all. At Christmas we give, so give it your all. As the children were sleeping, all snug in their beds, Pete and his reindeer appeared overhead. Santa's list was so big, and Pete felt so small. But Christmas we give, so he gave it his all. At the very last minute, they reached the last house. Pete dashed in and out, just as quiet as a mouse. Back at the North Pole, old Santa was waiting. The elves and the townsfolk were all celebrating. Thank you, Pete. All the elves and Santa were thanking Pete. I did it, said Pete. And although I am small, in the spirit of Christmas, I gave it my all. Give it your all, give it your all. At Christmas we give, so we give it our all. So what did you think of that story, boys and girls? This is one of my favorites. Pete is so cool. Okay, boys and girls, did you grab anything that jingles and shakes? I thought we'd sing a song now. Santa doesn't have a very good singing voice, but you help me out. Sing along. We're going to sing Jingle Bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Yay! Thank you. Okay, boys and girls, I have time for one more story before I have to go make sure the elves are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The second story is one of my favorites. An old friend of mine, Clement Moore, wrote a story about me called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So snuggle up with a nice warm blanket and I'll read you a nice story. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children were all nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash. I tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to the objects below. When what to my wandering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and I was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. Here's Santa. Here I am opening my pack with all my toys. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. And his beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside his nose, he gave a nod, and up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Okay, boys and girls, I have time for one more song before I have to go feed the reindeer and make sure they're ready for Christmas Eve. And speaking of reindeer, how about we sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Can you help me with that? Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came and said, "Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" Then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, "Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history." Yay! Thank you, boys and girls. Thank you for joining me with stories and songs. I have to go now and check on the elves, make sure they're getting all the toys done so that I can pack them up. I have to go feed the reindeer and make sure they're ready for Christmas Eve. I hope when you get up on Christmas morning you like what I've left you. Merry Christmas to you and your families. Ho, 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 ho.